I finally got round to doing some crochet. Slowly catching up. Things are still a little bit chaotic in here since last weekend, but it's getting there, so I thought I'd get some crochet out. Now, it is a bunting. You can argue it's Jubilee because I've chosen Jubilee colours, the colours from the Union Jack. But of course, you can do it any colour. It just makes a pretty bunting at any time. So this is what, I'm going to pick it up now. This is what I'm referring to. Now, it's a little triangle bunting, but it does have a little rose in the centre as well. And as you can see, I've used sort of a, well, it's a mixture of 3 yarns put together for the actual hanging part. As I say, can be Jubilee, can be any time, but I thought it would be nice to go for some nice Jubilee colours as it's coming up fast, the celebration, just in case you wanted to add a little bit of decor to your home regarding it. So we're going to go top down. We're going to get on with this. It is so easy to do. It's a real quick little triangle. We're only going to be doing the one. I've been trying to decide which colour works the best for filming. I think I might go for the white because I know red can glare a little bit on camera and the blue is quite dark. But as I say, you could do it any colour, let's hold it the right way up, that you want. So let's get on with this top down and please let me know what you think. I will see you in a moment. Here back with the bunting. Now, as you can see, I've got 3 colours here because those are the 3 colours I use for the Jubilee colours. They are double knit acrylics. Remember, we are in the UK here, so you do have to watch your wool types. But I think when it's something like a bunting, as long as you're consistent, it doesn't really matter. You could do these in a 4-ply, you could do really teeny weeny ones. I know I've got to try and sort some bunting out for one of my dolls things. So, you know, you could do it any size. You could do it in a chunky yarn, you'd have a really big bunting. But I just need to mention, obviously, the idea that it is a UK yarn that I am using. Now, as far as the hook is concerned, I have a 3.5mm hook here, which again works well with my double knit. But again, if you're using different yarns, you need to adjust your hook to sort of suit the size of that yarn. So, I know I've said it again, but I will say it. I keep saying it. It is a UK term. If you're a little bit unsure about that, the best thing to do is get hold of a conversion chart and sort of have a look what difference it is. To be honest, it is, when you get used to it, it's quite easy, the difference. I know I can pick up different patterns now and I work out sort of whether it's a US chart or something like that. So it's best to check because they will come out a little bit weird if you sort of think it is a US pattern, for example. So we're going to do the white one because I think these two are going to be really quite hard. Although the red on the camera, I'm looking down on the camera now, it actually does stand out quite well. But I think the white is going to be the easiest to show. I'm just going to do the one, then I'll talk about what I did at the top there. It is a really easy pattern. A little bit backwards and forwards in because you do have to turn your work. We'll leave that there. Should we leave that there? That looks okay there, doesn't it? So for now, I'm going to remove those two and we're just going to pull in the white yarn here. I have my needles, I have my scissors, I have a pen and paper over there. And let's get a little bit of this yarn out to get going. Right. As soon as you get past the rose, it's easy, but to be honest, the rose is easy as well. It's just, like I say, we've got to turn our work a couple of times, but I will tell you to do that when we get to it. So we need our slip knot on our hook, and we're going to start with 6 chain. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to make a little loop with this chain, so we're going to go into that first chain. We're going to grab our yarn, pull it through the first bit, pull it through the second bit. Make sure you really know where that hole is because sometimes if it's a bit loose here, it gets a bit difficult to see. So I'm going to tighten that one up now to make sure I'm going in the right bit because this is the hole that you are going to be going in. We're going to start with 1 chain. That doesn't count as anything. It's just a chain to get us going. We're going to do 12 double crochets, UK double crochets into the ring. So here we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, halfway there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11 and 12. So we've got a nice little ring there. We're actually going to do a slip stitch into that first one. So we'll pull it through. Up to you here. You can leave this as quite a hole, which looks quite nice as long as it's nice and neat, or you can tighten it up. so it makes it a bit smaller. Entirely up to you what you do with that bit. Now the next one, we're going to be making some little chains because we want to sort of make a loop where these little petals are gonna fit into. So we're going to do into the next stitch, so you're moving on to a stitch, you're going to do a double crochet. You're going to do 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. We're going to miss the next stitch and we'll do a double crochet into the next one. So I think you can probably see where that's going. Okay, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. Miss one, double crochet into the next one. Repeat again. So 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. Miss one, double crochet into the next one. Again, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. Miss one, double crochet into the next one. One more, 1, 2 and 3. We miss one, we double crochet into the next one. You'll get to this point, and I mean, I do know there is another one, but you'll be like, oh, have I done it right? What you need is 6 here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know there's another one to come. So 1, 2 and 3. And we're going to sort of slip stitch where that first double crochet was. Okay. So now we have the base, and you can see we've got these little chain spaces, these 3 chain spaces, and that is where we're going to be forming our first petal. Into each of these chain spaces, you're going to do 1 double crochet, 1 half treble, 1 treble, 1 half treble, 1 double crochet. So you can see you get that arch that you're working on there. So that's going to be in each of these 6. So I'm going to go a double crochet into that first chain space. I'm going to do a half treble. I'm going to do a treble. I'm going to do a half treble. Remember, with a half treble, you're wrapping like a treble, but then you just pull straight through all 3. And then I'm going to do a double crochet. So that's my first part of my little petal. And I'm going to do the same in the next one. So we're going to have a double crochet, half treble, treble, half treble and double crochet. So you can see we've got 2 little petals now. So we've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 left to go. So we're going to do exactly the same. So double crochet, I'll go a little bit quicker now, half treble, treble, half treble, double crochet. Next chain space, double crochet, half treble, treble, half treble, double crochet. So we've only got 2 more to do now. Double crochet, half treble, treble, ooh, nearly did another treble then, half treble and double crochet. We've got 1 more to go. So we have double crochet, half treble, treble, half treble and double crochet. So you can see, I mean, you can use that just as a little flower for something. You can just keep it as simple as that, but obviously we need to move on a little bit to get our design going. I need to do a slip stitch, so I'm just going to do a slip stitch into that first sort of double crochet that we started with. Now I'm just double checking where we are as well. I need to get this right. Right, we're going to do 5 chain. Now it's up to you. In a pattern it will tell you to turn your work 5 chain. I find it easier to do my 5 chain first, or my whatever chain it is. Entirely up to you. So I'm going to do 5 chain anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to turn my work. Now in the written format of this, I would say turn your work, then 5 chain, because that's a standard way of writing a pattern. But I think for ease, it's best to do it this way. And what we're going to do now, we're going to be doing a double crochet, but it's going to be around the double crochet from the previous row. So, you know, you've got your petal here. Can you see this bit here? That, there, let me take that out a minute. This here is your double crochet from the previous round. Remember when we did the chains, we did 3 chain double crochet. It's that. So I've done my 5 chain. I'm going to go around that. I'm going to grab my yarn and I'm going to do a double crochet. Okay, so we'll do 5 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. See that next one? We go round it, pull it through and double crochet. It's going to be really hard to explain this in a written form. That's the only problem with this one. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 around the next one, Make sure your yarn's a bit tight. I did that a little bit loose before. There we go. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We look for our next one because you can see it's sort of quite obvious really there. Round we go and double crochet. We're going to do that all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Look for the next one and double crochet around it. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're on our last one. Now we do need to make sure we go around it. I don't want you to just slip stitch into that top. We need to go around that double crochet first. Well, you will if I can hold it. Right, around, grab it, and there we go. Right, so now that's actually made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more little loops. But we now need to turn the work, otherwise your flower is going to be upside down for the second lot of petals. So what I'm actually going to suggest here is, rather than just jump into it, we've done obviously all our chain spaces, our 5 chain spaces ready for these petals. I'm just double checking what I have written there. Right, I'm going to do a slip stitch into there. Yep, so I've already done a slip stitch in. I'm now going to turn my work. And I'm actually going to go this way round now, but you can't see, it's just under there. Can you see? You've got this little chain here hiding under that first petal. So it's little chain here. And into this 5 chain, it's going to be sort of similar, but we need a few more stitches because there's 5 chain there. There'll be 1 double crochet, 1 half treble, then we have 3 trebles this time, 1 half treble, 1 double crochet. So the only difference is, instead of 1 treble in the middle, I've done 3. So 1 double crochet, 1 half treble, 3 trebles, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, then a half treble and a double crochet. So that is your next set of petals. So if you lie that one down, you can see it just makes it longer. So you've got sort of 2 petals there. So we're going to do that combination again. Just jump into the next chain space. It's just best if you just push that forward like that. It's easier to see. So 1 double crochet, 1 half treble, 3 trebles, 1. Oh, there's a little hair there. What's that about? Let's get rid of that. So that was 1 treble, wasn't it? We have 2, I've still not got rid of it. That's 3. Then we have a half treble and we have a double crochet. So just push that front petal down so you can see the ring here. So we're going to go double crochet, half treble, 3 trebles, 1, 2, 3. Pull a bit of yarn out there because it's going to start rolling if not. Half treble and double crochet. So again, just push that front petal down so you can see this loop. We have double crochet, half treble, 3 trebles, 1, 2, 3, 1 half treble and 1 double crochet. So again, push this petal forward so we can see you have 1 double crochet, 1 half treble. Then we have 3 trebles, 1, 2 and 3, half treble and a double crochet. We're almost there, we've only got 1 more to do. So just fold the petal forward so you can see we have a double crochet, a half treble, a treble 1, a treble 2, a treble 3, half treble and double crochet, and we are round. So can you see now we've got like this 2-layered flower sort of going off there. Right, I'm just going to slip stitch down there so make sure it's sort of nice and neat, and I'm going to say turn the work because the pattern would say turn the work, but it's going to be 3 chain. Okay, so I like to just do it first as I've mentioned. So 1, 2 and 3. Now I'll turn my work. Now can you remember before we went round, and you can still see here we've got these bits here, these are what we're going to be going round again. So 3 seems short, but there is a reason for it. So around here, double crochet, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. Oh, nearly split. Make sure you sort of separate. If you sort of separate it up, you can sort of see it better. Round and double crochet. again, 1, 2 and 3, around and double crochet. A bit more yarn out there, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3, around, pull it through, double crochet, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3, around, double crochet, 1, 2 and 3. This is our last one. Make sure you do the bit that goes around first. I know it's tempting to sort of slip stitch into there, but you do sort of need to try and get in here. It's not so easy to get in there because that's where you've stopped and started all the time, but you can get in there. There we go, double crochet. Now we're going to now slip stitch into that next one, but we are going to turn our work. We turn, so it means we're going back in this direction. So it's a bit harder to see, but if you do fold that petal over, you can see where your loop is. And this is when we're going to start our granny squares. So we'll double crochet in there. It's easier to double crochet if you're going to be doing chain. That's the only reason I did that. Then we're going to do 3 chain. That counts as our first treble. So I want 2 more trebles. 1 and 2. 3 chain. 1, 2 and 3. 3 more trebles into that same space. 1, 2 and 3. So you can see that creates the first corner of our triangle. We're going to do 1 chain, then we're going to look for the next chain space, 3 chain space, and you're only going to do 3 trebles this time. Very much like, well, it is the same as a granny square really, but you're just doing 3 points, not 4. So we've done 3 trebles. We're going to do a chain, fold it over, look for the next chain space. This one needs to be a corner, so a corner is 3 trebles. It is 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3, and it is 3 more trebles back into the same space because it's a corner. 1, 2 and 3, 1 chain. Let's have a look for that next one. There it is, just 3 trebles. 1, 2 and 3, 1 chain. Next one is a corner. So let's fold it over and find it. There it is. So a corner is 3 trebles, 3 chain, 3 trebles. So that's my first 3 trebles. 1, 2 and 3 chain, 3 trebles into there. 1, 2 and 3. It's a little bit fiddly because this flower gets in the way at this point. You get past this round though and it's going to be easy. So that's our corner. So it should leave us 1 more little set, which it does. So I need to do a chain first and then 3 trebles into that final set there. I'm going to do 1 chain and I'm going to slip stitch join in the top of that first 3 chain you did, the one that was counted as a treble, and join it. Now again, a little bit hard to see because the flowers hide in it, but we have 1, 2 and 3 corners now and 1 on each side. So the thing to do now is we're going to be working on sides. Now I know some people like to sort of slip stitch till they get to here. I go directly below, whichever way works for you. If you were doing a granny square, just go with how you would normally do it. But as I say, we've only got 3 corners, not 4. So we got 1, 2 and 3 counts as my first treble, and I'm going to go directly below. And I'm going to do 2 more. Because this is a side, you can see the corners are the only ones with the 3 chain space. So everything else, the sides will only have 3 trebles. We're going to do a chain now. The next one we can see is a corner. So a corner is always the same for this. It is 3 trebles. There we go. That's our 3 trebles. It's 3 chain. 1, 2 and 3. And it's 3 trebles back into that same space. 1, 2 and 3. 1 chain. The next one is that's that little hair that I couldn't get out before. Oh, I've managed it now. The next one is what I'm going to call a side. So we've got 2 sides now. You can see because these don't have 3 chains, do they? So we're going to do just 3 trebles. 1, 2 and 3. 1 chain. The next one's still not a corner, it's still a side, so it's just 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 1 chain. The next one is a corner, so it's 3 trebles, 3 chain, 3 trebles, all in the same space. 1, 2, 3, so that's my 3 trebles, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. 3 trebles back into that same space to create the corner again. 1, 2, 3, 1 chain. We have 2 sides now coming up, so it's just 3 trebles in each of those, isn't it? 1, 2 and 3. 1 chain, and just 3 trebles in this next one. 1, 2 and 3. 1 chain. Our next one is a corner. You can start to see how you get in your triangle behind the flower now. Corner, so 3 trebles, 3 chain, 3 trebles, all in the same space. 1, 2, 3, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3, or 1 chain. Now we'd already done one of the sides, that's where we started, so we just got one side here. 1, 2, 3, 1 chain and slip stitch. You don't really need that chain there, it's just, again, if I'm writing a pattern out, it just makes it a little bit easier to add a chain in, because you can tell the person to go into a chain space. Quite often with a granny square I don't do the chain at all. So 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3 counts as our first treble. I'm going to go in this hole directly below, so you can see now we've got 1, 2 and 3 on the sides and corner. 1, 2, 3 corner, 1, 2, 3 corner. So yarn round, 2 more trebles, because that first 3 chain counts as our treble. 1 chain into the next one, 3 treble, 1, 2, 3, 1 chain. You can tell the corner now because you're getting a real sort of point to it. So we have 3 trebles, 3 chain, 3 trebles into that corner. 1, 2 and 3, and 3 trebles. 1, 2 and 3, 1 chain. Sides now, so 1, 2 and 3 just have 3 trebles each with a chain in between. 1, 2 and 3, 1 chain. The next one. 1, 2 and 3, 1 chain. The next side one. 1, 2 and 3, 1 chain. We've got a corner, so you know what to do. It's 3 trebles, 3 chain, 3 trebles. 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3 and 3 trebles. Now if you are new to this and you're sort of thinking, oh, she's going a bit fast, don't forget you can slow me down in the settings, or just sort of, sometimes it's best to listen and then just stop and pause and things like that. If you're familiar with a granny square, you'll have probably already done yours. Everyone's going to be working at different levels, so that is why I sometimes say things that some of you are going to go, oh, well, I know how to do that, but I've got to remember there's people that are beginners, so I do have to think of it like that. If you're really unsure on the granny square structure, I do have a granny square pattern on here to go through the basics of it, so pop over to that. It's exactly the same, it's just that we've got 3 points and not 4, that's all. So that was my corner done, wasn't it? So 1 chain, remember we've got 3 on the side now. So 1, 2 and 3, 1 chain, 3 trebles, 1, oh, nearly dropped it, 2 and 3, 1 chain, 3 trebles, 1, 2 and 3, 1 chain. Right, we have 3 trebles, 3 chain, 3 trebles, all in the same space because it's a corner, don't we? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 and 3. We're almost done. Told you it was quite a quick one, this one. So that's our corner. So 1 chain, and we just have the one side left. So here we go. We have 1, 2 and 3. And I'm going to do what I normally do. I know I told you to do a chain because most patterns will say do a chain, but to be honest, I just slip stitch. You'll find you've probably got your own, if you're used to doing granny squares, you'll have your own method of it. So you don't need to follow what I'm doing on that. Just do however it works for you. So you can see we have a nice triangle there. But I think we need to edge it a little bit. So all I've done is 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Remembering when you get to your corners though, there's three chain there, so you'll need 3 double crochet. Sometimes you need more depending on what you're doing, but 3 is sort of quite adequate for this one. So I'm going to do a chain, and then I'm going to 1 double crochet into every stitch. Now where it's a chain here, I'm still going to go in fully like that, yeah, because it's still a stitch. So we have 3 of our trebles, but then 1 for where our chain is. We have 3 for the trebles, and now we're at a corner, so I need 3. 1, 2 and 3. We need 3 for our trebles. 1, 2 and 3. Remember that's a chain, so we're going to go in there, so you can see sort of how it neatens it up. So we'll continue going round, and then there's only one more thing to show you that I did, and again that is completely optional, but it's just an idea, that's all. So into the space where the chain is. You can go into the chain, I know some people do, but I like to go into the space. I think it looks a little bit neater, so you just go all the way into that space. It's also easier. Makes it an easier stitch for you as well. Like I say, I do think you can use this for sort of different things. I just think it's a nice shape. So, you know, if you've got a room that's pink or sort of whatever you want to do, you choose your colours. So we have 1, 2 and 3 because it's a corner. And then we need 1 on the top of each of the trebles. So you need 3 there. And in the space on the trebles, 1, 2, 3, and the space. See, it's looking good now. It just finishes it, doesn't it? So on the trebles, we've got 1 more corner to go, really. We're nearly there. Trebles, 1, 2 and 3. A little bit more yarn out. It's definitely rolling about. Into the space, 3 trebles, 1, 2 and 3. We have a corner, so 3 in the corner. 1, 2 and 3. 3 trebles, 1, 2 and 3. Space, 1, 2 and 3. You can see we're here, so 1 in the space first, and then slip stitch into that first double crochet that you did. So that is our actual triangle. Obviously sew your ends in. You need to sew your ends in. You may want to block it sometimes, obviously, because we've got this flower here, it can pull a little bit. I've not blocked mine, but you know, if you're wanting a nice crisp shape, you need to sort of block it out. It's not something I bother with that much, especially if I'm making sort of like dolly things and that. There's just no point doing it. And if it's a blanket, when you put all your squares together, it doesn't matter. Again, that's something else you could do. I mean, you can actually join your squares. Imagine, let's have a think, see if we can do this. This is not what I was planning on doing, but you never know. So all we need was 1 more triangle, and we sort of get a nice shape there, so you can build things up. You can do all sorts with it. The beauty of crochet, it is so flexible. You'll see one person do something, you think, oh, well, actually that could be something else. So it's great to be able to play with. Now, I just mentioned what I'd done here. Now, all this is, just to give me that sort of Jubilee sort of edge, is I've just taken all 3 colours, simple as this. Again, I'm probably just telling you how to do something you already know. The thing is with this though is not to get it tangled, especially if you're doing a really long one. It wasn't so bad for me because it was a short one. So basically I'm taking the 3 strands. Now I have heard people say they put each sort of ball in a bag and sort of have the strands coming out. That is one way of doing it. So I've got all 3 strands. I'm not going to be able to do this very easy on the camera, but we can get it started. It's exactly the same as if you're doing any other chain, just that we do have the 3 colours there. You might want a bigger hook. I kept the same size, but if it's sort of a bit clumsy, you might want a bigger hook. Now you decide how many you want here. This is the hanging up bit. So just for examples, let's just, well, what have I got? Oh, that happens a lot. Just be patient, it'll be okay. Right, if it splits, just take it out and do it again. Right, so I'm going to say that is where I'm hanging it. Then I would take my bunting. That's what I say, it's a bit hard to do without the yarn running. And I'm going to go into the very corner one and I'm going to do a double crochet. I say it is thick now, so you do need to be sort of quite strict when you're catching it up. So we catch it all up and double crochet. It's quite thick to work with now. If I'm going to do this one deliberately, so if I went in and I pulled it through and I only got the 2, I need to take that out. I need to make sure I get all 3, otherwise it's not going to work. You're getting a tangle. So you can see what it's creating. It sort of like twists itself into a pattern. You don't have to see, look at that. You see what I've done there? I've only pulled 2 through, so carefully take it out. Make sure it goes through all 3 again. And pull it through. See, it worked that second time. It's just having a bit of patience with this bit. But you can just do it with a single colour, single red, single blue. I've done it again. I did it quite a few times when I did that, but it takes a second to take it back out again. There we go. Oh, done it again. It must be just that one. Behave, behave. Right, so I go in, I make sure I pick it all up. Make sure it's all there before you start. Grab it again and pull it through. That's what you want. So basically you would do that all the way along. If you want a gap between your 2 buntings, when you do get to the end, maybe do 2 chains and then start again with the next one. Or if you just have it really close, you can just do double crochet, jump straight into that next bunting and do it that way. And again, you could use ribbon. You don't have to do this at all. These are just ideas to sort of get you going. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you're going to subscribe and like, etc, etc. If you do enjoy my videos, please do that. It does mean an awful lot. And hopefully you're going to get some bunting done. If you do get the bunting done, pop it over onto my Instagram and tag me in it. I can have a look. I'll just send me a message if you don't want to tag, something like that, because it is great to see it. I've obviously got quite a bit of work to do. I've got all of 3 at the moment. I must admit it might only stay at the 3 because I do have to have some dolly items done as well. So I'm going to sort of start ending up running out of time. But that's normal for me anyway. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget UK terms. And I hope to see you soon. Pop some comments below. I like to have a little chatter as well. And I'll see you all very soon. So bye-bye for now.